Using the jog wheel to manually tighten loops to create sick and impressive build-ups is gaining in popularity, as let's face it, right? It's awesome, and if done correctly, can sound amazing. So in this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know to be able to add this trick to your mixing arsenal and sound like a complete champion. Now this video is going to cover manually tightening loops, like using your jog wheel, okay, versus using the manual halving beat features here, which is pretty cool. Which parts of the track you should loop to increase your chances of pulling this off and making it sound good. Some tips and tricks to avoid common pitfalls, plus how to replicate this on a controller. Now, this video is full of juicy nuggets, so you'll want to stick around to the end as every teaching point builds off the last, which means to have a complete understanding and develop confidence with this, you're going to want to see the whole thing. So first of all, how and why. So personally, tightening loops means to make the loop shorter and shorter and shorter. And by doing so, it creates tension, okay, which works really well in the lead up to a drop, or perhaps even to create like this cool big entrance for a new really big track to come in artfully. Okay, now there's two ways you can do it. And personally, I'm going to show you in this video as well, but we can do both these methods together, okay? But let's start with the easy way, and that is simply just to use the beat halving buttons, okay? And what I'll do is I'll just grab like a beat or a vocal, and then I could start using the beat halving buttons here just to make that loop shorter and shorter and shorter in the time for the new track to kick in. I think the main thing to take from this example is I grabbed a cool word or a beat, okay? Then the closer it got to the drop of my new song coming in, the shorter I made the loop, but the more intense the loop, the more intense I got with the high pass filter, okay? So if you need to go back, watch it again, but without the high pass filter, it's like, okay, so check that out. Now, another way to do this same effect is to manually make the loop shorter with the jog wheel. Now, this method is pretty much the same as halving the beats with the buttons, yet in truth, there is more precision with the jog wheel, okay? Now, what I'll do is I'll first show you how to use the jog wheel to tighten the loops, and I'll give you a real life example in 1 minute. So first of all, to do it, it's the same as before. Grab a beat. So say I've got that whoop, okay? Then instead of halving the beats, what you can do is you hit out, okay? And then you can use the jog wheel to tighten it. So like you go this way, listen. But you see what I mean? Without the high pass filter, it's kind of intense. So you get with that. And that's probably a pretty good point to take it to. It sounds good. But you see, have a listen. We'll compare them. Okay, so I've got this, listen. That's making it bigger, by the way. But I'll try it again, listen. You've got to move it pretty delicately. I'll talk more about that later in the video, because if you go too much, it's that, okay, shit. So you've got to be delicate on it, but you do get a bit more precision than actually using the beat halving things. Let me show you the beat halving in comparison. See, it's similar, and then no doubt this is safer, okay, halving the beats, because you don't get that zoom, but you do get a little bit more precision by actually using that. Another advantage of actually using the jog wheel to tighten the loops and manually using the in and out points is you can actually change the beginning of the loop, not just the end. So I was showing you the end there, but quite often, let's say I've got a word, for instance, and this one here, I'll give you another example. It's like, just be good to me. But the me, I want to get that last word of the sentence and do that, but it doesn't quite fall on the beat. Now, I've done a whole bunch of looping. There's a whole bunch of stuff in my course as well. But I've talked a lot about quantize, like just in recent videos. And quantize, by having that button on, it actually snaps the loop to the beat. But let's say you want to actually get that word me, and let's say it's not on the beat. You might have to take quantize off. So I'll just show you that word me for a sec. Okay, hang on. Okay. And say I went to grab that word, I get that, it'd be like, it's not quite on it. You see what I mean? So what I do is, first of all, I take quantize off, I can hit the beginning of the loop and maybe I can go back and get the me. Right, so you'd have to do all this. Like, it's just showing you how it works first. I'm not quite, you could do better live. You'd have to practice this. So you want the me. See, that's the to me. You're like, there. And then I could close the end of the loop. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. Let me put that in an example for you. I've got quantized off. And then at that point, well, I could add more effects to spin back anyway. More on that right at the end of the video. Okay, now for the big one. What should you loop? And then how do you set the loop so it sounds natural in the mix? Now, personally, I find the tightening loop method works best when grabbing a 1-beat loop to start with, okay? So you just loop 1 beat or perhaps 1 word, and then you begin to halve it or tighten it with your jog wheel. But the last thing you want to do is cut a melody or a pattern in half, as it just makes the whole thing sound very unnatural. So for instance, let's say you wanted to grab a vocal, okay? You may grab the last word in the sentence or perhaps even the first word. So for instance, when I was doing like this, whoop, there it is. You could grab whoop, okay? Or you could probably grab is. But if you went and grabbed there or it in the middle of the sentence, man, it's just gonna be like super weird. Let me show you. To be honest, you just have to play around, but once you get a feel for this in time, it becomes more and more natural, and you can even pull it off without any kind of prep. So meaning you're playing live, but you feel your new tracks, like they're playing together well. Your new track's about to go to a drop. You're like, oh wow, this song's got like a cool beat or a cool word, and you just start halving it and creating a build up for that drop coming in. Now, let's say though, you're just starting out though, and you just can't get it to work. This is what I suggest, okay? Try matching the parts of the track when you mix. So for instance, first of all, you want 2 tracks in key. And if you don't know how to key mix or even how to set cues, I'll link in my free mini course in the description below, which has nearly 20 videos and PDFs to help you build momentum with your DJing, okay? And that's 100% the first step. But anyway, you get 2 tracks that are in key, at least at first, to make it a bit easier. Probably get 2 songs of the same genre that have a similar feel. And then what you do is I'd mix the first verse of the track in after the chorus of the track playing, okay? And that means both songs should be building up to a chorus, okay? And then what happens is, as you got obviously your old song, and hopefully as that's building up, grab something in that, but you want to grab it probably 8 bars before the drop of the new song kicks in. I'll give you an example of that right now, but if all of this is too much, and let's say you feel you'd benefit from a more organized approach, I'll link in my world famous Club Ready DJ course in the description below. There's no doubt, if you want to get, achieve your goals as a DJ really quickly and have the confidence to play live, it really is your best bet. But anyway, I'll give you an example now of what I was saying, and that is matching the parts of the song. It's a good exercise to kind of build up. And I'm not saying you'll always do it this way, but putting the verse in after the chorus, then both songs are building up to a chorus, okay? But then it's about doing it, you don't want to go too soon. You want to kind of start looping that exiting track probably 8 bars before the drop of your new track. Otherwise, you could be left standing there. If you go too soon on your loop, okay, you need to time it so the drop of the new song comes in. That would be a huge pitfall. And I'm about to go into more pitfalls in a second, but let me show you first of all what I'm talking about. Okay, even though some of this was already covered above, it's worth repeating. So here is where the majority of people fuck this up, okay? And that is, firstly, I find when using the jog wheel to tighten loops, it's great when working with a loop that is already kind of short. So for instance, if you go loop a bar and then you start moving the jog wheel, man, it might be too far to move. So if it was me personally, what I'd do is I'd probably halve that beat first, okay? So from a half beat, and then I start using the jog wheel, and it sounds a lot more natural. Let me show you that now. The most common pitfall though of all is, especially for complete beginners, we've all done this at one point, especially when you're messing around with it, and that is you just move the jog wheel too aggressively, okay? And it sounds like this. As a result to that, you've got to be really careful actually when using the jog wheel to, like this method. You just got to really, really move it small. And if you notice, there's heaps of big guys doing this at the moment on YouTube, especially because it's like, you know, capture attention stuff. But there's people playing it live too. Like I know it's a big James hype method and stuff. But you'll notice what they do is they move this until they get to a sound that they like. And then they might start adding effects to it, which would be the next step. But first of all, this is just a pitfall. Just be careful, move it too fast. It's over, you know what I mean? You want to kind of be very delicate and just get used to actually moving it. Like anything, the more you practice this, the better you're going to get. But speaking from my own experience, when playing in a club or playing live, people are going to be way more concerned with the tracks that you play than whether or not you're adding heaps of effects, okay? And to be honest, sometimes people get annoyed by effects. So that's why if you're going to do this, keep it low in the mix, okay? That's why add the high pass filter, don't have it like too out there, and just use it to enhance your transitions and to build atmosphere in the room. So for instance, I remember once, right, like I created this playlist for YouTube. It was that 3-deck one, right, the Tech House mix. I'll link it in now, check it out, it's pretty cool. But I remember I first recorded it, okay, just to kind of get an idea of how it all felt. And I added all these effects, and I'll be honest, the first draft of that, it was just a complete mess. So what I did was I stripped out all the effects, got the arrangement right, and figured out which parts of the track I'm going to play with cues, and I'll link that all in. This is all taught in my course, and you know, the course, check it out, and even the free mini course will get you like, you know, get you warmed up and build your momentum, all in the description. But what I did was I took out all the effects, and then I got the arrangement down first, okay? And then once I had the arrangement, then I started adding the effects, and there's lots of effects in that, like spin backs, everything that we're talking about now. And you know, I wanted to incorporate everything that I'm going to teach in my course into that. But I'm just saying arrangement comes first, okay? And then once you've got the arrangement, you add the effects. But if you think, let's say you don't have the arrangement skills, okay, and you think effects are going to actually like make everything better, it does not work that way. Effects is the icing on the cake, okay? But if the cake's shit to start with, man, it's just going to be a gooey mess, okay? So get your arrangement down first, then you work on this stuff. Now, if attempting this on a controller, okay, you're going to need to have manual in and out loop buttons, okay? So what you're going to do is, first of all, just try hitting the loop out button and move the jog wheel and see if that works. And if it doesn't, try hitting shift and then out and then moving the jog wheel. It might just be a shift function.
Right now, down, 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 down,
Okay, so I suggest you go back, re-watch this, try and incorporate it, try and do a few of these this week, find a few cool combos that really work. But then once you've got that mastered, the next step, no doubt, would be adding effects like, you know, we could add spin backs to that, add echo to the end of it even as well. You could add noise effects. You could do so many effect combinations, all taught in my course. Okay, so check that out again. Sorry to plug the course. It's just my baby. I love it. And I'm really proud of the Club Ready tribe. Like, it's really taking off. We've got the Club Ready radio, which just launched its 6-month anniversary party over the weekend. And that was really successful. We've got the Club Ready live stream. So I know a lot of people too, if you're watching this, a lot of people when I'm teaching, they get scared about the idea of playing live when they're first starting out. They just want to learn to DJ, okay? But I guarantee you, by my course's end, everyone then, they come in not wanting to play live. But then once they've finished the course, they all love that. And we're the only DJ school in the world that does this actually. We provide opportunities for the student post-course to actually, build their networks and be part of something and actually get experience playing live. So you finish the course, then ideally you play on our Club Ready radio station. Then after that, hopefully you do the Club Ready live streams and play to big audiences. Like we're getting thousands of views the whole time throughout that, you know what I mean? And then there's some people as well, we're trying to build a bit of a touring network, but we've got an event in the UK that we're affiliated with, but doing whatever we can to help the students as well to, just get live experience. And I've probably got some stuff around Byron Bay about to take off as well where I live. But anyway, it's just Club Ready Tribe, something I'm really proud of. Anyway, thanks for the ramble, guys. I deserve that. This video is like being quite complex, putting it together. But okay, thanks guys, see ya.